Was
Who, me?
anybody born in Dayton?
I was born in Lyme.
Yeah, I know now, but was
I don't think
Herman
so.
or
Mm-mm.
not Marion?
Mm-mm. They were born in Huntington.
But did you live in Dayton for a while?
No,
How did
but
you
Grandpa Stein and family lived in Dayton for a while before they moved to Fort Wayne.
You know, I don't know why I always get that.
This is cute. That's several years later. Do you want to see the picture?
Were you hiding your bare legs?
Is that
With
me?
Celie's dress?
Oh, yeah. I don't know. That wouldn't show unless you had
You
a
want to
zoom
take
on.
these as I pass them down? What?
Okay.
But look, we got different heights there, didn't we?
See, I haven't seen that picture for years. Have you got?
Oh,
Celie, I haven't seen that picture.
No, the camera's not here, guys.
Oh, this is.
Where, what do you mean the
Dave,
camera?
don't talk like there's a drum.
Oh, all right.
There's a cute little bit.
I wonder who that is.
That couldn't be Edward, could it?
Oh, hardly. Yeah, isn't that cute? Johnny
No,
from
this,
Bohr.
no, this has to be in Battle Creek.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You mean
You know, I'll never live in a
Well-
house that isn't on a hill.
your house is not.
It is too. For Tucson, it is.
Is it? I don't remember that. Remember when
Well, how old were you when we moved to Marion?
It was about 4,
I was
guess.
4? No,
Oh.
I was 4, so you were.
Well, you were probably the end of 4, and I
You were
was
the
like,
toward the end, toward
the
4.
3, yeah.
Oh, there's. Where?
Grandpa was doing that in the sacristy of St. Paul's, was it? That statue?
Yeah, except there's paneling there. Where would that have been?
Yeah, it wasn't in St. Paul, not that family.
Let me see if I can read what it says there.
25 glass packed. Something.
Okay.
Lights. Oh, probably.
Because I can remember about that. One of them was working on a church in Winchester, Indiana, that had these metal square ceilings, individual squares, and each square was very ornate. And I got the job while Herman and Dad were doing the sanctuary. I got the job of painting these squares, and that had to be at least 35 years ago, and I still know there were exactly 964 squares. That was the type of job I was. I had to be a flunky since I was a young. But then I had some jobs that I did other type of work too that I really enjoyed. My start, can I tell one more quick story here? That my start was probably when I was, 1930, when was the first time Dad painted St. Paul? Do you remember what year that would have been?
Yeah, I don't remember, but.
Probably 35, and I would have been 6 years old anyway. And they used to rent the scaffolding, and it had these double-headed nails, and scaffolded the whole church this first time. So when they dismantled, after they were all done, they were dismantling sections and taking them out in the churchyard, and of course there were nails all over that place. So he told me he would give me a penny for each 100 nails I picked up. I had a little pail. So that was, I had a whole lot of friends in the neighborhood, so I ran and got all the kids to get their buckets. I said, my dad will give you a penny for every 100 nails you pick up, which later on I got the devil for from Mom. And not just that, but it was that these kids couldn't count too well. They'd go up to Mom and say, well, I got 740 nails. There was probably only about 30 nails in their bucket. But anyway, that was my start with helping Dad, really.
Were you ever around? Were you around when he did the portrait with Dick? Dressing up. We have that photograph of Dick dressing up as
The
an
boy
angel. Were you around? Were any of you guys around when he was taking that picture?
So the thing behind him was actually a glider. It was an outdoor glider, if you remember, and we had that in the dining room. And of course, remember in the picture he holds a
Where was that picture?
curtain rod.
No,
We
that
have one
was
here.
for the
It's
boy
yours.
David.
Well, for what are you talking about?
Yeah.
The boy David?
Yeah, where he's holding the harp.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Well,
It's
that's
in
boy
here
David.
someplace.
Oh, well, now, Celie, I told Rita that That's when Mary Agnes had smallpox and we were quarantined.
I don't remember, we were quarantined for scarlet fever, I
Well,
don't
but
remember
the smallpox was
I
later.
don't remember smallpox either, but I think you better ask Mary Agnes about that.
know
I don't
didn't
think
dream
any
that.
of us
Well,
had smallpox.
Yeah.
Well,
Mary
maybe we
Agnes
did,
did.
maybe she did.
I have no doubt about that. Yeah,
So
that
what-
was a picture.
Well, sure, Mary Agnes Stein died of smallpox.
She died of diphtheria.
Diphtheria, that's right, you're right.
Okay, well.
Okay, but I don't know,
I was
smallpox, well, you know, if she did, that was something else.
Was there any local reaction when you think of your father as being a painter and I think a pretty good painter? Was there any? Did you have interactions with other people, talking about that, or people making comments, or what you thought of your father? But he drank, but he was also an artist, so there was this mixture. I mean, what kind of tension did that create with other people?
I don't know, anybody I ever knew that saw Dad's paintings, they used to say, I don't think you appreciate them enough, because they did.
We
Other
probably
people
people
would,
take
yeah.
it for granted.
yeah, and because other people would look at them and just think it was great, Is this one of Dad's paintings?
I don't remember ever seeing it.
I don't remember ever seeing it either. What is this?
I don't
It's
know.
a beautiful job.
Looks like it could be, but I don't know if it is.
Might have been something, he took a picture of or something.
So did Grandpa serve in World War I?
He was in the service, but he actually didn't see action. He wasn't out of the country. He was only in for 7 months or something, not 9 months, not too long.
He told us he was in it before he was out of the service, so he got into this camouflage deal, where they, with paint and pictures and things like that, that's all I ever remember him talking about it. I don't know if that was the original camouflage like they use now or what.
So, now when he had to have money for painting, Grandma had to have money for cooking and things like that. And Mom's made comments where you guys always had food if somebody came knocking on the door. So where did all this money come from?
Hard to say.
Mother was a good manager.
Yeah,
I
really.
mean, whatever money she had, she always seemed to.
She could make it spread
Yeah.
because we didn't have anything like luxury or anything.
But of course, there was so many people helped each other that I can remember in the 30s.
Yeah, that's right.
We all had little pin money jobs,
Mm-hmm.
selling trash and glass and
Cupcakes.
Yeah,
Cupcakes and cookies.
Oh yeah, and we used to go to the part of town that was better off, and we would have, I would always tell them, did you and I go together, or
I think
know
so,
two of us
selling
did.
cupcakes.
And we'd always say, this is the last one, so would you buy our last one, and then we'd run home and get some more.
Oh, I don't remember that.
So, the things like that you manage, but the people seem to help each other.
Mother said
that's the way it
when
strikes
she
me.
was desperate for money and was down to the last dime or something, she couldn't figure out what to use it for in order to bake cookies, so she borrowed ingredients to make the first batch from
Well,
somebody,
Of
from a
course,
neighbor.
but when
And
the
then-
relief organization came in,
Oh,
we used to
that's-
get it,
We'd get some
take our
flour
wagon
and
down and get whatever flour and stuff,
whatever,
sugar and
and then we'd sell them, and then she'd use the profit from that to get more ingredients, and eventually she accumulated some cash. That was not for a long period of time. I don't recall the.
but.
And we did all kinds of work, didn't we?
Over a 3-year period, I imagine she kept that up
Oh, you think it was that
there. I
long?
think so.
But you guys lived on the church grounds, so did you pay rent for that, or was that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, now Mom
both.
did for a long time.
Well, for a long time, that was to
But
pay
when-
for the church job.
I know it,
too.
and I can remember though when she started paying Father $20 a month, and she
Yeah.
was very happy that she could pay him $20 a month. And in fact, that's what she was paying him, I think, at the end.
Yeah.
Did you guys have to go to church every day, or how would they instill faith in a family when they're
Well, it was
together?
expected that we went to mass every day. It wasn't, we didn't even think of a have to, we just automatically,
Yeah,
it was
I was
part
gonna
of
say,
our
that was part of-
Christian education.
Yeah.
And
We just went to church because
we
that's
went
the way,
every morning.
that's the way the school day started.
Yeah, and all the kids at school went to church every day.
And Grandma sang.
Well, not, she only sang
At
in the
weddings.
summertime. Well, she sang at weddings, but she
Yeah.
played and sang masses in the summer, when the sisters were gone. See, the sisters were there during the winter, and the school kids sang during the
Oh, yeah,
school
yeah,
term.
yeah.
But, what was the question you had?
So, in other words, did you guys, I mean, was there, if you grew up Catholic in a town like that, is there a reaction of non-Catholics to you guys as being Catholics, or is, you know, you guys, the boys serving mass or the girls singing at weddings or things like that? I mean, how did that affect your everyday lives that way? Did Grandma and Grandpa both push that, or are you just saying it was
Oh,
just
it
so
was
natural?
just kind of a matter of course. We, you know, of course, Grandma instilled the importance of it in us. And the nuns, when we went to school, did this also. And it was just a kind of, it would be unusual
Grew
to,
up with, right.
yeah, it'd be unusual to miss mass during the week.
You just didn't think it
We
otherwise.
didn't think
Yeah.
otherwise. That's just
Yeah.
the way it was. It was natural.
I can remember two night prayers, you know, we used to have.
Oh, I can't hardly talk about night.
Well, I know, but what I mean is that probably, like, a lot of times when you discover that it wasn't hammers on us, it was having mercy on us and things
Oh,
like that.
hammers
You
on
know,
us.
and you'd ask questions about that, and
Uh-huh.
I think we were always
Sure.
answered well.
Well, the reason I say I can't talk about night prayers is because I always remember the giggling we did, why we did the giggling.
Why did you do
I
that?
wonder
Well,
why she keeps saying we.
I can't, can I say it on a VCR
With-
tape why
Yeah.
we did the giggling?
Yeah, please.
Because somebody
FCC.
always
Broke wind.
broke wind, somebody always broke wind and then everybody would giggle. Oh dear, but anyway, we got through the prayers.
Were there any moments when you guys were especially proud of your dad or mom for certain situations? Were there
Oh.
moments that stand out that were really you key in on that
Oh,
way?
I think so. Gosh, when Mother was Mother of the Year, I think we were all real proud of
Yeah,
that.
that was first Mother of the Year.
First
We
Mother
were
of the Year,
proud
Somebody
Marion.
described that once.
What?
Somebody described how the Mother of the Year thing came about.
Well, we were older. This was,
Yeah, yeah, we were, but
I was
there
working
was
downtown, wasn't I think? No, it was after I left the Chamber of Commerce.
I don't remember
So it
even
was
what
might
year
have
that
been in
was
the early
in.
50s.
I think it was while I was in the service, because I think you did
What years
mail
were you in the service?
48, 49, 50, 50.
Well, it was around maybe 49, 50 or something like that.
Anyway, it was the first time they had it in Marion,
Uh,
yeah.
And they asked for nominations or something, and different ones sent.
School kids, didn't school kids?
Oh yeah, the school kids
yeah.
all sent in nominations for grandma, because they were crazy about grandma, so that was nice, but, also, when people would come to the house, Mother would always say, show them the paintings, you know, she would
Oh,
always show
yeah.
them the paintings, so we were always kind of proud about that. And like midnight mass, after midnight mass, we'd hurry to clean up the house, and then Mother would have all kinds of good food and homemade fruitcake and stuff, and the house would be absolutely packed after midnight mass at the open house. Did you used to come to that, Dutch?
I have.
Open house after midnight mass, and the only one in our family, unless you do it. Do you do it?
Yeah, we tried it. It's not, people don't
It's
live
not-
as close to each
Well,
other.
that's it. We
Yeah.
were so close to the church, it was
Yeah,
like
we've had-
This is them.
coming to our house was real easy after.
We've had
But
well,
Dick and Mary Ann
7 or
carried
8.
that
Yeah,
tradition
they did
through
that
real
good.
well, that, and I think it was because they could walk out of church
And come
right
on
to our
in.
house that
And
it
they'd
went over
sit,
so
they would
well.
be so crowded that, remember, they'd sit on the steps. We had, there was a stairway up the dining room, then a platform, then down into the living room. They'd sit on all those steps and have their goodies.
The music fest, when Mom used to play the piano, I have a memory about the lady that came up to the door one day, knocked on the door while everybody was singing, you know. She wanted to know if it'd be all right if she sat and listened.
Oh, yes, I remember that, I remember that.
I don't remember that. That's
Yeah.
neat. Isn't that something? Well, I don't remember that.
I had another question. What was it like living on school grounds?
Well, it was handy for school. handy for church.
Meant broken windows in the back of the house.
Yeah, that's right.
But it did mean great playground for us kids.
Yeah.
Basketball, go outside, still there incidentally, or it's at
Yeah.
least in the same place.
Yeah.
And it was great because that is when, at certain times it was great. But we had a big playground and all the neighborhood kids came to the schoolyard to play. Well, and we had a lot
that
of,
was
we were
always
able
where
to
we.
have a lot of kids play.
It meant no back lawn.
That's right. There wasn't too much grass
Or
to
any
cut,
front
was
lawn
there?
hardly either. Max Horn, by the way, died a year or so
Oh,
ago.
no kidding.
Wasn't he?
Was he still in Marion?
Yeah, he worked at RCA.
Another question, did, see if I can get a wide shot here, can one of you guys describe, and can you guys scoot closer just for a second, a little bit, can anybody describe if Grandpa ever talked much about his first marriage?
We just found the picture here. He didn't, did he?
No. Dad.
I didn't know he had been married.
I think we were pretty
Well,
old
13
before
probably
we ever
knew.
knew anything about it. Yeah.
And I don't know why
He
Grandma,
didn't talk about it, and Mother didn't talk about it.
maybe he was afraid to because it was one of the things that led to his breakdown. Maybe he thought he couldn't face
We
remembering.
don't know. We don't know that. I mean, but
Looks like it was
Yeah.
pretty.
I've heard so many stories from so many different people that, see, I just found out not too long ago that, say, 7 years that they were married.
Well, that's
all
what he
those
said.
years, I thought he was just married that 1 year.
I did too.
Yeah, I
He-
think-
that's what it said in the Reader's Digest article, 7 years.
that's why you almost have to believe it because Dad wrote that himself.
Probably did.
Yeah, he wrote that article. But see, I think we're all pretty hazy on that phase of his life because it was not discussed.
Yeah.
And,
And I never asked him about it.
well, I don't think anybody did. For one thing, I don't think Mother wanted to talk about it. You know.
I don't know why. Why wouldn't she? I suppose.
Well, I don't know. I mean, maybe it was a bad memory for him. You know, all that.
Sadness.
Yeah. So who knows? You know.
Well, I don't
But
think
gosh,
you're
he was a good-looking son of a
Yeah,
gun,
Well, that was
wasn't he?
cute. Wasn't that cute?
Good
I
looking
don't think
couple.
you're getting very
Looked like he's
very
about 16
pungent
years old.
information, are you?
No, it's not helping much.
I don't think we're.
Where was that Reader's Digest article? Why so, that thing, where did I just see that the other night? Somebody that
Jerry
sent
brought
in.
it, or no, it was in the cuts. In cuts.
Because,
Oh, that's
but
right. then I'll
yeah,
have
Jerry
I'll
has
have
it.
I'll
Yeah.
have to photograph that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she has it.
Because, I got this mediocre wide shot here that I'll cut to, okay, well, let's just do a couple more and then we'll break up. No, I think there's a lot of good information.
Really
because,
not a whole lot.
Because, no, when you guys are talking, I'll cut the photographs a lot.
Yeah,
You know,
that's
because I'm doing a lot of shaky panning just to get close up to people so that.
I love that picture. That's the only baby picture of me there is.
Is it really? I've only got one too, and it's in here someplace.
Right here.
Yeah. Oh, no, that's Tom.
That's
Oh,
Tom.
that's Tom. Yeah.
Isn't that cute though?
Do we have one of
Look, that's
of Eddard? Oh, I saw one the other day.
well.
Must be in that
She
box.
was-
Yeah, I always like this picture too. This one.
Oh yeah, I did
What is it?
too. And
Oh,
this was
yeah.
by age.
Yeah.
You can go ahead and hold it up.
Oh,
Mhm.
you can see it.
There's, Don't
That's-
forget-
that's
don't-
my-
Don't forget to get this one.
That's by age. Well, Grandma and Grandpa in this
Yeah.
too.
Cute.
And then, where's the one in the later one that we were just looking at, Eddie, over there in the color? See, I got your name right this time.
Yeah, but I don't see, oh, this one in color.
No, you
Oh,
can't,
yeah.
you can't pan
Go
up
ahead,
close
hold
on.
it
Oh, that's when I had my
This
beard,
is-
Carolyn, did you see that?
Wait a minute, there. No, that's the same thing in a sentence. I mean, we're by.
Yeah, we're by age.
I mean, by age.
On that. Did you? Oh, for crying out loud! I didn't even notice
What?
that.
What, his beard? I didn't either. You had a beard
I
there?
said I looked like Abe Lichtenstein.
Oh, for
Here, that's my one baby picture.
yeah, and this is
But I
mine.
thought there was one of it.
Hey, let me look
There's
at
the one
this.
that's on. Now, did you guys have separate rooms, or was there more than?
Oh, are
how many
you
people
kidding?
how
I
many
didn't have
people
a
were in the same
bedroom.
room?
I didn't know what was my bedroom till I was about 12 or 13.
All the pillow fights were between room 2 and room 3. room,
And
room
there
3
were,
had
I
all
mean,
the girls in
Joe, there were 1, 2,
Okay, stop a
3.
minute. Say that again.
There were about 5 bedrooms in the house. There could have been 6, but the one we used as a big closet. And Dad put a bunch of racks so we'd have place, because our closets were very tiny. We also threw stuff all over the floor in
that
that
was
room.
fun to hide in.
But anyway, we just had wherever, I mean, I don't know when we had our own rooms. You and Sis slept together. And,
Oh my goodness, not until after half the kids left.
yeah, then we kind of started to have rooms of our own. But for years, I didn't really know what my bedroom was.
Yeah.
So
Did you guys get together? I mean, as brothers and sisters, and have some fun doing stuff like? I mean, talking about.
Oh yes, especially after we
Not
got
talking.
older. You know, we used to sit around the big dining room table. Every night, somebody would put the coffee pot on, and we'd pull out the crackers and the cheese and the butter.
Yeah.
That's when I learned to love to eat crackers and butter and duck 'em in coffee. But somebody always put the coffee pot on at night, and we'd sit around and have some very good discussion.
We weren't playing cards.
Well, that came later, I think.
Oh, yeah.
But then even after we played cards, we'd go in and.
Before that, though, I have memories of pillow fights.
Do you?
I must not have been very big. But
Well, and I'll tell, I'm going to tell this, the boys,
Okay, stop a minute. Wait, let me get this set up.
the boys always got the advantage over us. They were stronger. And they'd flip us with dish towels, for instance.
Oh, yeah. I
Or if
remember
we
the-
got in a little fight or something and they hit us, and we tried to hit back, it never worked because they hit us harder. I mean, they were stronger. Now, Ed did, because he
You
was so
must have
sweet.
been a good girl, Celie, because I don't remember doing all that to me.
And I remember teasing Mary Agnes
You were
all the
tough.
time. Do you remember Mary Agnes getting so mad at me all the time, and then I'd tease her, and then she'd laugh, and she'd be mad because she had to laugh? Oh,
I went through that with Tom.
no. Oh, God.
Tom would lose his temper and get some mad. And the madder he'd get, the more I would laugh. That would
Didn't
make
he
him
get enough
madder. No. Finally,
Well, we were a pretty typical family.
Yeah,
I think,
why not?
So just,
Now, what about Sister Aunt Selma? Is that right? Was this?
she wasn't involved with us hardly at all.
Was that the Aunt Fatty?
Yes, yeah,
She was gone all the while we were growing up.
she was number 2. Mother was the oldest in the family, and Aunt Patty was second.
But one thing we did do, remember about the Saturday night shows or whatever, we were entertaining, trying to get Mom and Dad cheered up and laughing and stuff.
Yeah, but then, you know, Celie, I mean, I wish you wouldn't bring that to mind, because you and Rangus used to do fine, but Mother always said I looked like a cow with a crutch.
Oh, well, you had fun too, you dressed up sometimes.
I know it.
What would you guys do? Somebody describe that.
Oh,
So I can-
nothing, I mean, sing and
Oh,
dance.
Lucy.
we had a natural stage.
Yeah, we had a
Hey, hold
stage.
on, hold on a minute.
All right.
This is a big story. I'll get a wide shot of it.
Hey, get Ed to let Ed tell you about the
Let
stage.
your son do that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, they did the 2 living rooms, and they had an archway between them. And there was plenty of room on each side to serve as dressing rooms.
Yeah.
And so they would come out, well, all
It was
kinds
like
of
a
things.
stage.
Sometimes they'd come out from both sides onto the stage, and sometimes they would just come out from the dining room, which was the other side. And sometimes it would just be 2 of you, and sometimes it would be all of us, and there was different ways, but I don't know, that was the ham in this.
It was usually Saturday night after we cleaned house and everything, and we were
that's
kind of
right.
tired.
And everything was, we were able to.
We didn't have to get up the next morning early, real early.
Yeah, you know, that's another thing, is when going back to when you were talking about living near the church and across the school here, one of the hazards was that if some kids didn't show up to serve for 6 o'clock mass, there was always a nun over at our back door, and
You want
Victor and
somebody
I
to serve, yeah.
had to run reserve. And so many times we had to get up when we weren't really wanting to.
Can you describe what you do with your little family? Was there any acts? Did you spoof movies or sing songs or what would you do?
Oh, golly, you know, one thing, there was a fireplace.
Okay, start that over.
Was a fireplace, and the obstacle was unbelievable because the fireplace wasn't usable, and in front of the fireplace was the heating stove, a pretty good sized heating stove, and there was just space behind it for the pipe. Daddy, go to sleep then.
Oh,
And-
fascinating.
However, in front of the fireplace, Joe, was some set-in tile, sort of like ceramic tile type of stuff, and we couldn't afford tap shoes. And if you had leather-soled shoes and you got on that tile, it made sort of noise like tapping. So we sometimes get back on, it was only about this wide, and we'd stand there and try to tap as best we could.
You and Mary Agnes.
Mary Agnes,
That's right.
And try to tap because it made noise sort of like tap shoes, you know. And we didn't have anything much planned, we just did silly,
Silly,
sort of
yeah.
spontaneous.
Yeah, most of it was, yeah.
And, I don't know, Herman would fiddle at the piano sometimes.
Or plays clarinet.
I can remember us making up some
Okay, stop.
melodrama type things, but not very often. Oh, I'm sorry.
Or we used to sing.
I'll tell
We
you-
used to sing opera.
Oh, yes.
Oh yes,
that's
we'd sing
right.
opera.
But
We
it was-
made that up as we went along
Right.
too.
Let me tell you, it was nothing that would get on stage any place. It was just us letting
Yeah.
off steam and trying to get mom and dad to giggle and laugh.
Mhm.
So it was just nothing that one would want to produce any place.
Do you remember the time we combed Mother's hair, put makeup on her, and Father McCarthy walked in?
Father Schmidt,
Father Schmidt, okay, he walked in and she was so embarrassed.
she had her hair down long and a red ribbon in her hair.
It was the lipstick, I think, though, that bothered her the most.
Oh, boy.
Oh.
And, so explain that a little more in a close-up. So I can
Okay, and then we're about done. aren't
yeah,
we?
explain that a little more in a close-up.
Like the makeup.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Father's wear.
What did you dress her up as?
Well, we didn't really dress her up, but she liked to have us comb her hair. She had long hair, you know, and
But she rolled
she
it
liked,
up.
yeah, but in the evening she'd be sitting there and she wanted somebody to brush her hair, and that always felt good to her. So one time we brushed her hair and fixed it up, put ribbons in it, and put rouge and lipstick on. She never wore makeup. And we put this on, and Father Schmidt walked in.
The priest used to walk in sometimes.
Yeah,
They'd
hardly
go
ever
knock and
knocked.
walk in.
They just walked in the back door, you
Well,
know.
he came in the front, if you remember. And
Did he?
We had the front closed off because it was cheaper to heat. It was
He
black.
we probably didn't hear him at the
Yeah, he
back
probably
door.
knocked at the front door and walked in and opened the dining room door, and there we were. I can still see
Yes,
that.
and she was so embarrassed.
Because she thought priests were really
They didn't
the
like
best
lipstick.
people on earth.
Yeah. That was funny.
Okay, well, let's get one more reminisce about Grandpa and his paintings, because I want to tie that in. So, is there any other stories that go along with that?
Oh, I don't know. You were good.
Oh, there were so many stories. I don't know.
They run into each
What
other.
about the story of
Doing,
the apostles that Dick shot an arrow through because one of them was Judas?
Oh,
I don't
whatever
know.
happened to that
Oh,
painting?
it ended up in Fort Recovery or St. Henry, Ohio. Yeah.
well,
In
tell
the
us, sir, I
church
don't
or where?
know. I
And
don't
when the
remember
priest
that.
house there, yeah.
How's come?
You don't remember that? How
They-
come, I think they had to sell it, you know.
It was like part of, just like the end of the table, of the Last
like
Supper
a
table.
close-up on the three
Yeah.
apostles and Saint, or
There was a
Judas
dish that
and
had
a couple
a
other
piece
apostles.
of celery across it.
Oh.
Was
Yeah,
it celery?
it was a beautiful painting.
Yeah, it really was.
Well,
I
was it one of
remember
Dad's
that.
paintings?
Yeah.
Oh,
It
yeah.
was big, and Dick had one of these toy bow and arrows things, you know, and he took the rubber cup off, and he didn't like Judas, so he shot a hole through him. And he, you know, I don't know how old he was, but anyway, Dad did repair it so that you could hardly tell it was ever done, yeah. And then, but this was, and he had it rolled up for several years, and I don't know how he had to take it to St. Henry's. I can't remember. I think it's St. Henry's, and it's in the priest house there. It was on one of the walls, like a dining room wall or something. When we worked at St. Henry's, painting the statues, I saw that painting, and I never knew what became of it. And Dad told me that that priest there had bought it, and I don't know when, but there it was.
I hadn't thought about that picture for years, but they used to hang in the dining room.
So what did you tell people when, I mean, if they said, what did your dad do for a living? He said that
He was an artist.
We said he was an
He
artist.
liked to also say that he was an interior decorator, but because he did that for income, because he didn't make a lot of money off of his artwork, especially not during the 30s.
Yeah.
Well, the interior decorator, you mean of churches?
Well, but he was an interior decorator. He did a lot of homes, certainly he did.
He did, I don't
He
remember.
helped on a lot of it.
Well, you probably were kind of little too through some of this, Celie.
Now, by interior decorating, he didn't tell them what kind of furniture to get and all that. It was
walls and
remodeling the rooms.
He used to make a lot of those plastic fancy molds,
Yeah,
and
all that
put them
stuff.
around and for decorating purposes.
Carolyn asked about the West Town. What was the story behind that?
Do you remember the story?
No, I
on that?
don't. I faintly remember there was something.
Some priest that he had done some work for, and I can't tell you which priest it was, but anyway, somehow was a friend, I guess, of Father Flanagan's, and often made trips back there. And he encouraged Dad to make a bid on that job where they were going to renovate a lot of the work in Boys Town. And it seemed at that time that we were almost to a point where we were going to be moving to Omaha. And about the time, let's see, Dad made at least 2 trips out there on the train, And about the time that this was all supposed to go through was the time that Father Flanagan died. And so everything fell through. In fact, I think rather than one man having a lot of power like that, they even got how they have it now, Board of Trustees and all this. But that was almost a sure thing, but it wasn't meant to be, apparently.
I only remember faintly that there was something to do with that. Well.
Okay, that's pretty good. That's good for now.
Do a lot of research, but they put certain things in just, you can't possibly get everything out of it.
Well, now, what is this gonna be used for?
Oh,
No, we're not.
oh,
No,
that's
it
just
just
doing
yeah,
that,
I'm
Carol.
just playing around.
He's just playing around. It's out there.
No, what I have excellent facilities at Channel 21 at my disposal. I put together a lot of little videos and stuff like that, and so what I thought I could do.
Well, now, is that getting on the tape, Judge?
I'm just playing around. I just
Well,
like
don't
to
waste your tape.
that doesn't matter. But anyway, so what I thought a pet project I always had would be to put together a 60 or 90 minute documentary with photographs, old movies, interviews, and things. So in other words, so what I'm doing now is I'm just getting little bits and pieces, and I just got a few photographs and just talking to a few people and a few old movies, and I'm just gonna put together a sampler and maybe send it out and see if people can send in stuff that'll help me out that way.
But we're the only ones that are going to be interested.
A 5 or 10 minutes. Well, I know, but that's all the cousins. All the cousins. There's a,
Yeah, that's right.
but I mean, it's not going to be anything fancy. But the thing is, I can throw these all together at the station, and it'll become fun if it works out. So I don't. If the audio came out at all, then it'll be all right because the microphone's kind of far away. But it's not going to look great. But it'll be fun to throw everything together. So
I think so.
I'll put together a sampler tape at Channel 21 and see what happens.
Yeah,
In the drawer. You go in the kitchen there. And
Because there are a lot of
right
stories.
there.
You guys had a lot of neat stories.
Let
right
it
there,
clear
and that's
out,
just
let it
scratching the
clear out.
surface.
it'd be interesting, just like when we were in Fort Wayne the other day with Dutch and talking to Aunt Ers.
Did you ask her?
Some things she said didn't agree with some things that
Like,
were,
Yeah.
it'd be fun to really
Well,
find out
sometimes
things.
your memory is a
Oh,
little
sure.
loose
All of
too,
us
and
are.
all of us. Yeah, that's right. you remember some things differently than I do.
Yeah.
And,
By
yeah,
me too.
yeah. See,
That's
but
why
I
this
think it
is
was
nice,
the way it
because
affected us at the time it happened,
Sure.
probably.
by the time your children and grandchildren get it, you can imagine what stories would
Oh,
be
yeah.
distorted.
Oh, yeah.
But you know, Mom,
This way you got
Huh?
yeah, and Mom's talking, you know, if somebody's interested, like a photographic family tree, but we're down where all the kids and there's one thing about the family, we're close enough that everybody's really interested in how it
Everybody
happens.
knows, yeah, see, that's what I'm hoping
So
when we
get it
get,
down on tape,
yeah,
audio.
when we're through, when Susie's finished with this family tree, I wanna make copies of it. Cause I think
That'll be
each
great.
family ought to have one, I think it would
Who's
be.
finished, you said?
Pat's sister Susie is making
Oh, yeah.
actually, she's putting pictures with it.
Yeah, Mike.
I
But,
don't know how
but,
it's gonna turn out.
but if you guys were to reminisce a lot on tape, we could always transcribe it to paper and make a neat little, you know,
Yeah.
somebody could make a little book, somebody would have the patience to transcribe that and then fill in the
Oh,
details
that's
in between.
ambitious. That's
But I mean,
ambitious.
yeah, you know,
Probably.
transcribing as secretary, if there was like an hour or two worth of audio tapes, a secretary could transcribe that on the paper. So you'd have that, it's all ready to go. All somebody'd have to do is edit it and add in the little details, little pads in between to connect everything. And you, even if it was disjointed, it'd still be on paper and everybody could read through a little some of these things, you know.
You know what I think we'll do, well, that wouldn't help because you wouldn't have to do it, but while we're talking to Mary Agnes, maybe we should tape and talk about some of the same things and see what she says.
Yeah.
Mary Agnes,
get
and
her,
if you're going to Tom and Barb's
Yeah.
or whatever, tell them, just if somebody has a tape recorder it, then carry along the cassettes with you, then make copies and send them back
Yeah,
or something like
okay.
that, because that'd be really great if you could.
There's
Because-
something in the
Let's not
family that
forget.
Jim taped grandma
And I need to get
Yeah,
a hold of
we
that.
don't have much of that, do we?
for an hour.
That's right,
Jim
we
did.
have,
Our
Jim
Jim did,
did
he's
go to
got
tape
tapes, yeah.
Yeah, I really
yeah.
need to get a hold of that cassette, you know.
Yeah, oh, I never thought of that.
But even if I never completed this, it'd be good to have a collected library, and videotape's good for that, even if, you know, you could just collect it all on that.
No, I'd like to hear that tape that, Jim had, I ain't never heard it.
Is it at your house?
No, Jim's got it, but, it would be interesting to get her version of some of
Yeah.
this stuff, you know.
But I think that's one reason, Dad, you bought our tape recorder a long time ago, was to get Grandma Collins, right? A lot of that, we got,
Well, it didn't
we got very little bit of it, but,
Why?
Well, we sent it over there and showed her how to use it, but she just didn't get around to it.
Oh, I
It's,
see.
you know, it's
I thought-
something you put off till you have a lot of
Herman
time.
had a lot of tapes.
Huh?
Herman had a lot of tapes. They used to,
Yeah, but see, evidently they were more interested in it at the time too.
I know,
all
but I
the
mean,
kids and everything.
they may have been talking about some of these things on tapes, I don't remember.
Yeah, well, I don't know either.
And they might ask Sherry.
but the Cuz magazine's a good format for that too.
Oh,
People
that's
can write in more
great,
reminiscences,
yeah.
you know, along the way, and then you'll collect it. That's what's so nice about that magazine, and we'll just collect it.
I think, I just keep wondering if Barbara realizes how much we appreciate that, even though we tell her, you know, it's just really terrific that she takes the time to be and share it.
You know, doing this type of thing, though, you wonder about these presidents writing their memoirs on how much it's accurate on that.
Well, you know, you don't really know, but you get a general idea, I guess.
Well, thanks a lot.
Okay.
I just wanted you guys to just talk about a few little things, just to give me something to work with, so I didn't care what we talked about.
I think we're kind of tired
Okay,
tonight, and
yeah.
sometimes you're just
Smile
not
for the
very
camera.
sharp, I
No,
just.
I can tell.
I should have had that beer before we started.
Okay, shut it off.
Whatever.
Even if I
That's
shut
just
it
true.
off, the picture still comes through.
Yeah, that's
That's
so Dutch.
Oh. Oh, I
This
know.
is the love scene.
There's too much sex and violence now.
Joe, did I
Get
ask
it,
you?
Rita, there's sex and violence.
I want to know if Joe could help me. Did I ask you or tell you that I have a big tape? I think it's a half-hour tape. When the first cameras and they had reel-to-reel type stuff or whatever, however it was done, I don't know.
The first cameras.
The tapes
Well,
or camera?
of these things. And it was one of my classes. Yeah.
8 or 16 millimeter.
It must be 16 because it's pretty big.
You still got that?
I still have it, and I won, but I don't have any way to play it. You know,
You got the camera or the old film?
the film's all I
Oh.
got. That's